Today I decided to talk about how I got the scar on my face, and why my eyebrows are uneven, and how people who actually witnessed the violence that led up to what happened to my face still just turned around and never said a word. And this really did happen. One day when we were little, I was probably 7, and the kids on the block were pretty much a year or two younger or older than me. There was a game called running bases back then, and the object was to get from one base across to another base while the ball was being thrown. Before the guy tagged you, you gotta hit the base. I was wiry, and I ran pretty quick, so lots of people got tagged, and I was one of the last, me and another person. My father got so upset that I could outrun him, and he wanted so much, he was just so mad that when he gets like that, he just becomes violent. So what he did, as I was trying to run past him, he, instead of tapping my shoulder like he did everybody else, he took his hand, and I felt it on my back, and he shoved my face right into the road, and I went head first down. It ended up that I took off actually half my face. I do have the scar. I try to hide it, which is where I usually wear my hair in front, but I'll turn sideways a bit so you could see it. It's just like the eyebrow, and then the skin as a whole, goes down. Okay, that was long enough. What had happened when he pushed me down, I actually remember hitting the pavement. I remember even before hitting the pavement, I saw it to be gray. It was like that gravelly, and I was like, I don't want to see this up close. But I knew I was going down fast. Nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. Down I went. I never felt such excruciating pain as that day before. And afterwards, of course, I got used to pain, but this was the first major. And it wasn't only the major as to how bad I felt the pain, it was the major to somebody who was witnessing my father who did this. And it turns out that the neighbors did nothing. They picked me up and brought me in the house so quick. So nobody, would really tag along with them just to see if they were going to fix me up or not. My sister was the one who told me just a few weeks ago how it looked from her eyes. I only remember it from me, and she said, I went sliding across the pavement. He said, and he says, he picked you up, brought you in here. He said, and I remember Gilda saying, give her a glass of water, while this blood was just pouring out of me. And I not only did the face, which broke 2 of my teeth, I did my knees. I fell on my knees too. They were gone, and my elbows. And this is the first real experience with blood coming from me that I really wasn't thrilled with. Never did take me to the hospital. Never did. I sat there as they handed me towels, and when they filled up with blood, they would give me another one. Still like shaking because I was in such shock, and just for the fact Gilda realized that they did see outside, let them at least make the appearance that they took me somewhere. Maybe to a hospital, these people were thinking, but that's not where they took me. My father and I went to the family doctor, who I just couldn't stand from day one. We sat in a waiting room while like 22 people, as I counted. And I'm bleeding as all these people are just going in for their appointments. They didn't treat me as an emergency case or anything. I sat there quietly, still bleeding all over the place. By the time they got to me, this doctor says to my father, he says, right now there's nothing you can do. She says the skin is gone, but you'll need to bring in her for plastic surgery because it's just not enough skin to connect. And the doctor was right about that. Of course, I never got this, the plastic surgery, so one eyebrow is higher than the other, and I have to do cover the other side. But it was like blatantly out there, abuse in the street, witnessed by neighbors, kids, everybody, because it was a hot game back then. Nobody did anything, not one damn thing. I just keep telling these people, I mean, if you see something like that, something that doesn't look right, or if it doesn't feel right, that means it isn't right. Step in, because people are not stopping. They are openly abusing their kids. I mean, like, just last week I was at my son's doctor's office, and this little boy in there, maybe 6, he was a cutie. His mother, who was tremendous, a tremendous woman, was like trying to either read her phone or whatever. I ignored her and went and sat down and waited with my son, and I started listening to her. She was cursing this kid out in public, telling go get a life. Kid was saying, Mom, we're here an hour already. Don't you have enough pills for me for tomorrow? I was actually gathering information while I was listening to her. I wanted to see what the situation was. She continued to be verbally abusive to the point where the secretary heard, even the doctor heard. My son was out in the hallway and he heard. Since he was angled by me, and at this point I was like, no, this kid is not going to get abused right in front of me. It's just not going to happen. I looked out in the hallway, and my son had looked up from his book and caught my eye, and he knew he had to come in because I was going to go off. He sat down across from me. She shut up for a couple of seconds while she figured him out. And I began to talk to my son in a stressed down conversation that we've had. We use it as a place that we know to go to calm down. I always take him up into the mountains, and we look at all the little animals, and it's worked. He got older, so at this point he was talking about like intelligent stuff. I know it's bad to say. I just about hung myself right here. Oh God. At one time I was an A student, and they swore I could have been, a doctor. But right now, no. And my son knows not to talk to me because I won't understand anything he's saying. His IQ is like in the 150s. I think I'm like maybe 80s at this point. I've got so many fried brains. I don't know what to do. But anyway, he let me get him in the conversation, and the first thing that I noticed with this woman was she finally shut her mouth. Since she was on the side of me, I couldn't see her because I can't see out of the eye. Just down on my face. I see how my grandmother gets a story out. Full circle. Yes, it all comes back. Yeah, alright, I have low vision in that eye. And my face on the ground was part of what caused it. So back to her. That's why I didn't see her. I just know that she shut up. And the little boy seemed to be calm. I mean, if you waited an hour for a little kid, I would have been climbing the walls. So my son starts talking about an infuser that I wanted to start to, make tea or something out, because I got to get a lot of water into me. It's not doing well. And I noticed that the longer we were talking, and at times, it was hard because my son has less patience than I do, but he knew what was going to go on. So we did this, and then all of a sudden, we're talking about my Bowflex, and she joins in, and she says, I'm going for the gastric bypass surgery. I still couldn't see her. I mean, my neck doesn't work that I can turn sideways. It's just across, that's it. But my son was talking to her, and what I noticed was, for the time that we were talking and so engrossed, that kid finally got some relief from her abuse. So, anywhere you are, in any way you can think of, there's always something that you can do when you see something. So please don't turn away, and pay attention and act if you find that there is something going on. I mean, if you need to make the phone call, they're always anonymous. You have to do it, because these kids, believe it or not, are going to be the ones that are taking care of us. I wouldn't want to mess with a kid that was abused, especially by the parent. There's enough that we lost. Our goal is to stop, just totally, stomp it out. And the only way to do that is by spreading awareness. And this is what I'm doing basically for the month of April. To all those who are following me, I thank you so much for your patience, for your comments, for actually sitting through my life, and hearing things that I know are difficult to hear. But like I said, my goal is to raise awareness, and the only way I could think of to do it is to put a face to something that isn't right in society. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. No retiring for me. I figure, God, if I go like this, I should be able to get another 5 years out of me. Unless, of course, with the choking, that can happen at any time. But this is then what I'll be doing, at least until another 5 years, and then maybe go back to my artwork. For some reason, I just can't get focused back on it. So I'm really thinking that I will be doing more of this past April. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you all enjoy your day. And that's that.